And now, your official TigerBait live show with Mike Scarborough and Buddy Songy starts now.
Welcome in, everybody. Got a big edition of TigerBait Live tonight. Buddy Songy back in the studio with me after a week off. And Buddy, like me, several weeks ago, everybody was fighting the weather, and but we're both great tonight, and I think we're gonna have a big show to talk about. Lots of LSU football recruiting, scholarship offers flying like crazy, unofficial visits. Of course, LSU got several really nice commitments in the last week. And the class of 2025 for Brian Kelly and his new staff is looking fantastic. And boy, they're putting in the work too. They're out and about everywhere. You can see them out on Twitter and posing for photos, and kids talking about getting offers from LSU. So there's a lot of heavy lifting going on right now in LSU football. If you're enjoying the show, hit that like button. And we're also talking a little bit LSU women's basketball. Much to worry about. LSU's lost 3 out of the last 5. And I'm assuming Mulkey gave them several days off to get their legs underneath them. But certainly the depth is the issue there, and maybe a few other things. But welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. Of course, publisher at TigerBait.com. Hope everybody doing out there. It is amazing. We have already got into a full month of January. Flip the calendars tomorrow, February 1. Next Wednesday, second signing period. We talked about it. The bash became obsolete and irrelevant once Twitter and all these early social media posts, but expected to pick up another 1 or 2. And just going through some stuff and some background stuff, 60% of the coaches on the LSU football program are new. 6 out of 10 new coaches. LSU baseball, 10 left-handers. I don't think I've ever seen that many lefties. And, of course, as we said, basketball to tide us over. But I've got the hat on. I've brought this one for you. You see what it says? It says half full. I'm still half full. It's a great time to be a Tiger fan. And they are, like the Jeffersons, moving on up. We'll talk about it, what I'm talking about here in the coming next hour.
Yeah, it's Buddy brought up baseball. Big group of media there for LSU Baseball Media Day. Of course, we had all those interviews up on TigerBait within an hour or so after all of it was completed, and some very impressive newcomers that we got a chance to interview on Friday. And I really like the fact that they brought each one of them to the podium instead of us fighting to get them all out on the baseball field, and especially with all the media that LSU baseball gets, it made it a lot easier. And if you notice, there's a much wider and taller backdrop that they have behind the podium, and they're going to be using that the rest of the year. It's like you guys know it if you've watched any of the interviews, if you're not dead center on it, because it was like this wide. So a guy like Skeens, if your camera was over here, you were getting half that snack bar in Alex's box behind him because the backdrop wasn't big enough for a lot of these guys anymore. So they got that fixed. But it was a really, really nice day out at Alex's box. But so, yeah, we can talk about that if you want. I mean, we're only, a week away tomorrow?
Yeah.
And so the start of the
baseball is 2 weeks from Friday.
2 weeks from Friday.
But a week today from another signing period. And, oh, by the way, I don't know if you folks heard about this today, but the male official that was at the Assembly Center last Thursday night inexplicably changed his name to Richard today. And if you don't know what the nickname for Richard is, he truly was one.
At least 2 of those fouls were off the chain.
And all I'm going to say is, once again, SEC, without failure, providing, let's just say, officiating, refereeing, and umpiring that leaves much to be desired compared to the talent on the floor, the diamond, and the football field. But kudos to you, Tiger fans. That was special. I wasn't able to go, but I was able to get a couple tickets for her grandkids. And that's some that we'll talk about. You hate that it ended that way, but lo and behold, kudos to you, Tiger fans. and don't give up just yet. They didn't beat Carolina in the regular season last year. Coach Mulkey will bring them back at the right time. And Michaela Williams is hitting the freshman wall. And everybody knows it's something in basketball you go through. So, but that referee, I'm telling you, the audacity of, and I think he's given Kim a tech already this year, but she wanted it. But the audacity of warning her. This is a Hall of Fame woman that's won 4 natties. And Dawn Staley's hollering just as much. But all I can tell you is that if you learn from adversary and losses, could bode well down the road. But that officiating, I'm sorry, was consummate to Alabama football partiality and Kentucky's men's basketball partiality, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think 2 of Angel Reese's fouls were ridiculous. Certainly the last one she got to foul out was a bad foul on her part.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And but, you know, like was said in the post game, you know, South Carolina took advantage, and they've got a depth advantage over LSU and a lot of everybody else in the country. And but it was a fantastic event, and the crowd was unbelievable. The student section was unbelievable. But like Buddy said, Michaela Williams, I don't know if it's a freshman wall, might be. I think a lot of them look like they're tired. Mulkey kind of mentioned that the next few days would be light. You know, it's almost the way they look in Starkville was like, look, I don't want to see you until Thursday. Y'all don't work out, don't do anything, go to class, veg on the sofa, and I'll see you Thursday. You know, I hope that's kind of what they did. They need it, and you could have done it with the fact there's no Thursday night game this week. So, big one on Sunday. They need to get back on track. But you know, you kind of look at this team now, and look, back in October, November, it was obvious to me the point guard was going to be a problem, and no Alexis Morris, and you know, but what is the most that this team can do? You know, is that a dangerous game to play with Kim Mulkey and what she does? You know, because right now, you know, in my mind, you know, maybe they're a Sweet 16 team. But here's the thing: you can't lose any more basketball games because all of a sudden you're not hosting. You know, we're going to see where they start to fall. They're going, you know, they gave them the benefit of the doubt and kept them in the top 10, losing to South Carolina in that great basketball game. But when you lose in Starkville, they're going to knock him down. You know, I imagine 3 or 4 spots.
You know, I got to be honest with you. I think most of us will agree with this point. We've all watched a lot more women's basketball since Coach Mulkey has come here. Look, you got to give Del Rosario and more players an opportunity. And I know she talks about if you want to play, you got to do better at practice. But they're running on empty right now. We'll see what goes there. On the half full, LSU football, I got more excited. Blake Baker, Bo Davis, Kevin Peoples, obviously Corey, and your new safeties coach, all those guys coming in. Slade Nagel, a home run.
Yes.
This is appreciably younger staff. Joe Sloan got the gig. Cortez Hankton's going to be involved. Obviously, we know Brian Kelly is very much involved in offense. Nuss, please, folks, give Nuss a little time to grow. If you're going to criticize him, go back and look at Burrow in 18 and Jaden Daniels in 22. This is his first year starting. Big offensive line. Brad Davis continues to load in the talent. And as we know, running backs galore. Caden Durham, I think, is going to be a guy that can take it to the house. And LSU's not had that capability this last year. Logan Diggs got an NIL deal with Vagisil and went ahead and went over to Ole Miss. He's going to do good at Ole Miss. That offense where they dink and dunk and throw it to him in space, so you're going to have to tackle him. Mike talks about the schedule. Open date before Ole Miss, open date before Alabama, finishing up with Oklahoma, and that USC game. Don't forget, there could be a special Friday or Saturday night ceremony with Mike and Las Vegas. You want to be there.
All right, guys. Zach, Whitfield, right out the boot. What is the ceiling for the LSU basketball team this year? We talked about the women. Do the men hit 6 or 7 wins? Is that kind of?
I got the men hitting 6, by the way, 11 a.m. on Saturday. And I think McDonald's being a corporate sponsor, and I'm thinking outside the box here. I had a little marketing research and going to college. Why don't we give a Big Mac when they win a game? You got your ticket? How many people are drawing? How many do you think consistently go to the men's games?
2,500.
2,500 to
3,000.
Anyway, 11 o'clock in the morning, and playing Arkansas this Saturday, and the following Saturday, Alabama, 11 o'clock in the morning. I asked this question today. Do you think 11 a.m. affects the basketball players the way it affects the football players and other athletes? LSU athletes don't do great at 11
I
in the morning.
I think it affects,
generally.
I think it affects all of them.
Yeah.
He also asked, and do you think we get the softball team where the baseball team is at? When is their media day? Is it today? Was it today or tomorrow? I don't know. Isn't it this week?
Yeah. Beth Torina obviously is very excited about what she brought in and has a really good class coming in. But
this is the year.
I got a lot of softball fans that are waiting to see.
I think this is the year. I think she's got to do something this year, or this could be it.
I think she's got a couple more years.
I think she was 50-50 last season at the end.
I think what she's got coming in and that left-handed pitcher, I think she's got 2 years.
I don't know where pointing the future recruiting classes is going to do it anymore.
I'm hoping it's not a topic of conversation. Let's hope that they do something this year and peak at the right time. Baseball, by the way, really loaded with the pitching. I mentioned 10 lefties, and we're talking about supreme depth with the pitching staff. Can you imagine having to replace Paul Skeens and Dylan Cruz? The two captains, by the way, Alex Milazzo, Hayden Travinsky, and I think everybody knows that Jay Johnson is the consummate workaholic. What a hire that was.
Absolutely. 53449. Mike, Preston and Zach had a great show interviewing Keelan Moses. He was awesome. Keelan Moses. If he's not a team leader at LSU in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, I'll be shocked. Great student, great young man, very well spoken, and beyond football, I think he's got a bright future in whatever field he decides to go in. And he says, hit the like button. Absolutely. If you're enjoying the show, please do hit that like button. You help us with the YouTube algorithm by doing that. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. We're averaging on average about 3 to 4 uploads per day, and all great free content for you.
Let's give a shout out to Keelan's mom. She's done a great job of raising that young man. He's got 1 more year with U-High and Andy Martin, and I thought they were going to win it this year. I think they obviously are shooting for that, but boy, you can just tell he's got the personality that people gravitate to, Mike.
Absolutely. If you haven't seen that show, it's of course on our YouTube channel. He nailed the recent commitment, didn't he? He said it on the show. And so LSU goes up to Shreveport, and boy, LSU is really doing good in North Louisiana. No more talking about having issues up there, and certainly not in Shreveport. Devin Harper, another big offensive lineman. I was talking about it with Buddy earlier today. It's what Brad Davis is doing is phenomenal. We're now going to go on several years in a row where you're not even contemplating the offensive line having question marks or issues. Not only you have great starters, you have depth, building more for the future, and you're getting it done with a combination of in-state and out-of-state players. And so it's absolutely phenomenal. I can't tell you when there was a stretch like this of offensive linemen at LSU.
And Jabari Antoine, let's not sleep on him. Look, the pipeline to Westgate, this is where you got to have pipelines. Those kind of schools that put out great products. LSU, whatever happened, got a little cross-haired with them. A great feeder school, but that's a 4-star corner. I like the size. Once again, you get into that 6'1", 6'2" long arms, and we all know you can't have enough corners. And aren't you just anticipating, folks, the day he's got a big smile on his face when LSU satisfies his insatiable appetite for LSU D tackles coming in.
The last time it was this bleak for LSU defensive linemen, we were talking about Thomas Pittman at a recruiting bash.
Oh, that's fun.
That was a bad era
Yeah.
of defensive linemen.
Well,
you're talking
Baton, all those guys
was moving Kyle Kipps from tight end to defensive end, the things that you were having to do back in those days.
But Bo Davis is here, and they are going to come. Remember, Coach Joe said, "We coming." The D tackles, they are coming.
All right, 10 commitments for the class of 2025, multiple 5 stars. 2024, of course, not done yet. Still got McKinley to sign next week, and of course Terry Bussey on campus today, and others have been swinging by from 25 and 26 all week. I think going into the visit, Bussey has kind of been likely to stay home with A&M, but look, when you get him in, you never know what can happen, and certainly got new staff members, and let's see how he molds with them and what might be the fallout from that. But I think, you talk about 60% of this staff and also the youth factor. Every year, I mean, look, you don't want to replace 60% of your staff every year, but there is some upside of having some youth and it invigorating the program so nothing ever gets stagnant. And it's not just there. It's in player personnel. You got new faces there, Austin Thomas and all that. And it's going to be very interesting at LSU in the coming months.
Bussey did say he talks to LSU every day, and I guess I'm a little bit naive, but I think LSU's got a chance there. I know Texas A&M, now he committed to Jimbo. He got a big bag to commit to begin with. Mike Elko's an excellent football coach. He's an excellent defensive coach. We'll see if they can hold on to him. But you think he signs the first day? That would be a week from today,
yeah.
Bussey? Okay, so we'll know, obviously, next week when we do the show.
Leandria Lewis says, hello, all. Glad to have you with us. Dane Bergeron, of course, longtime TigerBait subscriber. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you, Snake. Hope you're doing well.
Chance Babin wants to know, what kind of numbers does a healthy Tommy Tanks put up this season?
Well, here's the question that I have. Who are you going to have before him and after him so they can't pitch around him? And I think that is what we're going to see early on in the season. But, I wasn't able to make the media day with the baseball, but I was, if I was Tommy Tanks, I wonder if he got an NIL deal to put a little more gold. I thought his jewelry was kicked up a notch this year, didn't you?
Yeah.
Great guy. And once again, nobody will ever forget how clutch he was.
He enjoyed the kids dressing like him for Halloween.
Shoulder popped out 20 times, including in the dog pile when they won it.
That South Carolina was very physical, as was Mississippi State. Women's basketball teams are rest and time to recover, says Dane. They letting the girls bully them around. Josh, Michaela Williams has hit the freshman wall, says Spectrum Wellcare. But she's going to be fine.
Yeah, she will. Well, no, you and I, we need to discuss this just for a second. I saw film of this, and Mike, you saw it in person. And look.
You probably saw my film.
We're not ever going to tell those people what to do, but we see a lot. And I'm not lying to you. The footage and what you told me today, she was shooting like 40 consecutive three-point shots. Another hour later, another 40. And I'm talking about boom, and nothing but net, nothing but net, nothing but net. It's like you hit that many balls on the driving range, and you say, okay, I'm good. I'm going to go. I think she got a little tired in that game. Obviously, it's a lot different when you got to do it in front of that crowd and the enormity of the game. But to me, that's where she started hitting the ball, Mike.
Yeah, and so
you saw.
I think there's a physical component, and I don't think it matters whether she's a freshman or not, because I think the whole team's probably a little bit with it. Everything pointed to South Carolina, that big crowd. You give it everything you got, and you fall flat, and you're still it's going to take time to recover from it. But what Buddy's really talking about is, look, a lot of you went to the game. They opened the doors 30 minutes to an hour early. I was there in the 4 o'clock hour, 4:15, and Michaela and Flaugier Johnson were out there shooting threes at 4 o'clock. And they were probably doing it for a good 30 to 40 minutes. Then they went to the locker room, came back out, did another probably 30 minutes or so during the 5 o'clock hour. And then the 6 o'clock hour, typical pregame warmups. You didn't see any South Carolina players shooting threes from 4 to 5 o'clock or 4 to 6 o'clock. You didn't see them till after 6 o'clock. And then on top of that, you have the normal stuff that the strength guys putting them through, running around the court. I think they burned up at least a half of energy.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Look, of course, it's one of those deals where, like, man, who are we? You know,
Yeah.
like, I mean, last thing you want to do is start.
But she was hitting nothing but net, Mike. What I was trying to point out.
It takes a lot to shoot 3 points.
But
It's legs.
You don't need to hit 30 in a row. When you hit 10 in a row, you ought to be good.
Mhm.
I just thought it was a little overkill. They will be back, and I think they will certainly return back and get an opportunity to host. So stick with them. Men, I got them beating Vandy, Arkansas, and Missouri to get to 6. Anything more than that would be Lanya.
All right, let's hear from Mike and Alex over at Pride Roofing.
Hi, I'm Michael.
I'm Alex.
At Pride Roofing, we handle commercial and residential work.
TPO, shingle, and metal inventory. We got it.
Property still in disarray from the recent hailstorms. Insurance claims?
No problem. Though you know Pride Roofing is the official roofer at TigerBait.com.
In fact, notify TigerBait and we'll give you a free roof inspection. And on top of that, you get a free year subscription. Call 855-PRIDE-16. Se habla español.
855-PRIDE-16, anywhere in South Louisiana. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait and tell them to come and check out your home or commercial business for your free roof inspection. And with that free roof inspection, just because you said TigerBait, they're going to pay for you to have TigerBait Premium free for a year. They pay for it. And so it's a win-win. And be sure to say TigerBait when you call Pride. Of course, base in Hammond, a new office location right on Government Street here in Baton Rouge, home in New Orleans, and also, you know, of course, real big on the North Shore, but really blowing up here big in the Baton Rouge area. 855-PRIDE-16.
You have a lot of options. I mean, there's not a show that is run without a roofing commercial that you see once every hour or two on TV. Look, we're not going to inundate you with that, but we are going to tell you this. We take great pride in doing the job that we do. We've had a lot of people jump on. We talk about them every day. Mike talks about them every day. It's because they care and they do a really good job. You want to do business with people who care. You want to do business that have been doing it in the right way. All we have to do is tell you all of the acquisitions, the concrete company, all of the other things, metal roofs, folks, give them an opportunity in Baton Rouge. Get the answering machine, 275-2041. Leave us a message, 855-PRIDE-16. All we ask is an opportunity, and I promise you, they will give you the most important things in any relationship, trust and communication.
Kenny Haynes with a super chat, and he says, Mike, be sure to promote the new baseball show. Absolutely. We're going to start that in a couple of weeks with Kendall Rogers. He's going to join us weekly for about a 20-minute quick hitter show. And we'll do that each week during the college baseball season, and fired up to have Kendall with us. I go back several decades with Kendall Rogers, good friend. And we did a little bit with him last year, and I keep saying we need to do something weekly, but we've got it ironed out. And attorney Kenneth P. Haynes is going to be the title sponsor of that. And so we're going to figure out what day of the week we're going to do it. We'll probably be earlier or middle. I'm thinking we might do it on – we probably will do it on early in the week, maybe on Tuesday, that we'll talk about their new D1 baseball rankings, and that'll lead into whatever Tuesday night opponent LSU has, and then preview the upcoming weekend. But looking forward to doing that. And Kendall Rogers, he's the best in the business.
Kenny had an incredible bulletin board post about the lineup, the team, who's going to hit where. I used a lot of his stuff on the show, and he knows his baseball. Look, we're all fans of a particular sport. I love my football, but he is the consummate baseball fan, knows his stuff. And don't forget, does a hell of a job in the courtroom.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kenny, for that super chat. And as always, thank you for being a sponsor of our shows here on TigerBait. And one of the best posters on our Tiger Den premium message board. All right, let's see. John Silly Butler says he can't wait for baseball. And Rick Cloetti says we need a good hitter in front of Tommy versus behind him, like Cruz did. All right, guys, can you see us now?
There we go.
Guys, give me a thumbs up if you see us and can hear us. I don't know what happened. We just had a blink. Say hello if you can see us. All right, a bunch of guys saying yes, yes. All right, here we go, guys. Sorry about that. That's the oddest thing we've had experienced. So, all right, sorry about that. Let's see what we got here.
Anyway, welcome back, everybody. Look, it happens to me from time to time, and we're going to continue to audibilize and get right back and picking it up. We were talking about Kenny Haynes in baseball, who's going to hit behind Tommy White, and I think Bart Smokey does a fantastic job. You're on the radio with him.
Yep.
Travinsky, that makes sense. White probably in the 3-hole. Travinsky at 4. Who will lead off? They asked Tommy White about the stars and the hitters. He said everybody. So going to be really fun. Oh, by the way, in case you've not heard, opener 2 weeks from Friday starts at 2 p.m. Jay likes that early start. So I'll do the radio show from 12 to 2, but he likes those 2 p.m.
Is he doing that because he's already projecting rain?
Who knows?
I was getting a little suspicious of a lot of that last season.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He's already projecting rain. I'm kidding. Trey Potan with a super chat says SEC baseball is looking very deep this year. 6 in the top 9. Some can say that there's not enough in the top 25. I was seeing Mark Etheridge, one of Kendall's counterparts, and them guys doing an SEC baseball show last week. Thought that maybe there was a couple of teams that belonged in their top 25 that weren't there. And typical SEC, absolutely loaded. LSU up there, of course. Florida, a lot of people think is the team to beat. Arkansas right there along with LSU. But 6 in the top 9, like our pitching depth, go Tigers. What's y'all's thoughts, fellas? I think the ranking's probably about right. They're going to win. They're going to win games differently this year.
Yeah, and look, baseball rankings have probably more disparity than any other rankings. But bottom line is that Thatcher Hurd is probably going to get the ball on Friday night. You got Luke Holman from Alabama, who was their star. probably at Saturday, and all signs are pointing to Gage Trump to be your Sunday guy. But man, these 10 lefties we're talking about quality pitchers, and we're talking about guys that can bring it up there. Cam Johnson is a freshman that's coming in 100 miles an hour. Javen Coleman's coming back. Justin Laura from Xavier. We go on and on and on. Going to be a lot of fun. They will win games differently, but you know one thing about it. Jay Johnson has solidified LSU back, I think.
What do you think of the middle infield with Braswell and Pearson?
Played the Braswell interview today. Josh Pearson playing second base. Of course, Jared Jones at first base. He's got to quit striking out so much. Tommy at third base. He's coming back from the shoulder. A lot of catching depth. A lot of outfielders. I think they're going to do fine in the infield. I do.
Scotty B says Mulkey will have to go heavy portal as they have struck out big time in the 24 class. She mentioned today they don't have the foot speed to stop these teams. That was so obvious to me. You had Kayla Pointer year one, Alexis Morris, Haley Van Lith's a 2, and she's having to play point. Poa does some nice things, but look, if you had Samaya Smith healthy and you had Kateri Poole that could help you defensively, and just from a depth standpoint, giving you minutes, that would have been huge. But I think they're going to have to go in the portal. I mean, look, you've got Jada Richard coming in from LCA, but she's going to be a freshman. I think they got to go in the portal and get an established true point guard that's kind of like what she had her first few years here.
Mm-hmm. And let's give South Carolina credit. Look, LSU dominated the first quarter, and then they come back and make a run and hit a 3-ball. They dominated the second quarter, come back and win the last minute and hit a 3-ball. And Angel Reese, I know she learned from it, but the enormity of that game and 1.5+ million watching, she's got to feel bad. That's just frustration.
But too, what Scotty B's saying here.
No, they don't have
this basketball thing. You can say, oh, well, they've struck out. Yeah, but look at who they were in on. And this women's basketball deal is kind of like kickers and punters. They stay for 4 or 5 years. They don't go anywhere. If Angel Reese comes back, and I don't know what percentage you'd put on that right now, but she can come back for another year. You're right back in the national title hunt next year. You just got to go in the portal and get what you need, and then 25. Then you have a big freshman class.
Sarah Strong is a big 6'2". That plays big, and they still in on her.
They're trying to get her back in for another visit. I know that.
Got to get her in, but as you know, folks, in March, guards dictate how far you go. LSU doesn't go all that way without Alexis Morris last year, and you mentioned Kayla Pointer. So I'm sure Kim is going to work hard on that to get. But she's exactly right. When Haley Van Lith gets taken to the hole, sometimes she just doesn't have foot speed.
Well, Kim has said it multiple times. She said it before the South Carolina that to do what she did in year 2, it spoiled everybody. Yep. And she absolutely has. And but the difference is, and you see it in the depth. That's where South Carolina has the advantage when they've been doing it for over a decade at a high level. She's able to roll 8 or 9 out there in pregame warmups. I'm looking at a group of inside post players for South Carolina, and
they got 4 of them.
And I kind of nudged an LSU basketball assistant that was walking past me, and I said, "Man, where do they get all those?" Because they were just so tall and long. And it was said to me they've been at it for a decade and a half.
Yep.
But yeah, it's that's the difference. And
Angelica Velez is a true point guard. She came in. Of course, she was close with Aaliyah Del Rosario. Has not played much. And Janae Kent, also a top 25, has not come in here. And, of course, I know Kim says I want to play them. When they get out there, they've got not turn it over and act like the moment's too big. And Poa's got to get her confidence back. Poa can play this game. She just lost her confidence and focus. And the last couple times out, she's had trouble with turnovers. And so it's just a little bit of a lull. They know what they're doing, and you hope that they get them peaking at the right time.
WJM 401 says Mulkey has a team full of me's, a real crap show of attitudes. I think you're wrong. What took place in December was a blip, and I think all that has been fixed. And I think they've got some great kids on that team and some great girls. And that little stretch where Angel Reese wasn't a part of the team, I think it did wonders for her. And but I think, look, she's a big part of the glue, but I think Flau'jae Johnson is even more so. There isn't a sweeter heart than Flau'jae Johnson, and just you can see it in her interviews. That post game of South Carolina, I thought she was going to cry. And I think that's kind of what the difference you see in the women's game and the men's game.
Well, he must have been talking about the men, because the men's got a bunch of me's.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I love Jalen Cook coming over here, but dog it, 4 or 5 straight times and you miss. I don't see them playing I don't see them passing the ball. Will Baker, Vanilla Ice 7-footer. He takes a 3. I mean, they have got to get in there and start playing together. I see more me basketball with the men than the women. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Dwayne D., I played years of basketball. LSU fans that know nothing of basketball whine and whine when they had a taste of a championship on a sport they barely follow. How bad will it be when she wins more? I don't know what to make of half of that, but I think LSU women basketball fans have gotten educated real quick in a hurry. And just like every sport at LSU, gymnastics, LSU baseball, it didn't take long for LSU fans to be some of the smartest fans in the sport. And but I will say this, Mulkey's right when she says that she spoiled everybody in a hurry.
By the way, did South Carolina defend last year? No, they got beat.
No.
They went, 36 games in a row and lost. It's not that easy. When you win a championship, I'll never forget asking Nick Saban and Jimbo the following year after that incredible year in 2003 when they won a natty and hadn't won in football in 45 years. And I asked Jimbo and Nick, kind of working on the practice field, about, well, you guys, you think you got to repeat? And you should have heard the expletives. We don't even know who the effing quarterback's going to be. John Brady says it best. It's not how much success you have. It's how much you can handle. These young ladies have changed their life. This is a lot to take on. Angel Reese is a $3 million lady. Haley Van Lip is more than $1 million. I mean, this is a lot to handle, and just hang in there with them. I think that when you see Bob Starkey and all that staff and Coach Mulkey, they're going to be okay. This year, though, they are lacking the guard play, and Mississippi State took advantage of that. Another sold-out arena. Auburn sold it out. Mississippi State sold it out. LSU playing in front of sellouts. Go help them down the run.
Rick Loetti, could Flau'jae possibly run the point? She's fast and a great ball handler. Van Lith is a better 2-guard. I just think they're all 2 guards. And I think Flau'jae at times can be a little bit out of control. You know who comes to mind immediately about how I might think mentally picture her bringing up the ball up the court? Could probably be a little bit like Maurice Williamson back in the day. Maybe a little bit out of control, turn it over a little bit.
If you remember the South Carolina game,
Johnny Jones,
Michaela Williams was running the point at the beginning of that game. So they're going to let her do a little bit of that. But from a defensive standpoint,
it would have been nice if Velez would have been more ready to go.
Yeah, but they're going to have trouble guarding the guard play. But I think offensively they'll get back. But they're going to have to outscore people this year.
And then here's the other part of it. You know, we talk about Angel Reese coming back. Who's going to come back? Who can come back for another year? What they're going to need to do in the portal. Who is she signed? You know, she can have a numbers problem, and you know, are they going to have to make some room?
No, look, they're 3 short scholarships now. They got 3 spots on that
Yeah,
they didn't fill.
but you're going to need to bring in some more bodies.
Well, no doubt. But by the way, and I apologize if this offends anybody, but I have not watched 1 minute of WNBA. It's just totally different.
Well, and that's why Angel Reese will come back.
But it's totally different watching Caitlin Clark and Carolina and LSU and UConn and everybody versus the WNBA.
I mean, the only thing with Angel Reese is she, does she hate going to class? Where's she at there? And, but she, I don't think she can be as big in the WNBA as she can be at LSU in college women's college basketball. I asked you today. I didn't see it. You saw it. The number they drew Thursday night for a Thursday night basketball game, second only to Iowa and Ohio State, which was a Sunday game. And then what was that, over how many year period?
10+ years.
Yeah, and so
season game.
WNBA is not drawing that, and in the WNBA she'll just be another girl.
Yeah. Well, Angel Reese has developed in such a megastar. I don't think her WNBA career will be very long. She'll be doing a lot more other things.
5 million says LSU Lady Tigers are not to have to win a national title every year for me to be happy. I just like to see those girls compete, and I'm a big supporter of Kim Mulkey. Boy, look at all the college basketball chat we're getting tonight. Scooby, Reese has showed how much this team has to have her on the floor. Turnovers are a big problem for this team. Last, I'd like to see Williams take more shots. If they're falling, I'd like to see her take more shots. And I think there's times where Haley Van Lith is hitting, and maybe she needs to take more shots. But when Van Lith's cold, she's cold.
Well, the Carolina game, Anissa Morrow made a couple of big baskets, and they never got back to her. And of course, once again, I'm going to preach this until I'm in the casket. 13,505, whatever it was, show up. They didn't show up to see the 2 women and the men referees. I just wish college, and we know NCAA is still no clue at all. You can throw an F in there if you want to, but give them another foul, 6 fouls, because as soon as you get 2, Mike, you bring the star off the floor. Now, I'm not saying Angel Reese was not crazy on that last foul, but seriously, I want to see 6 fouls before I'm in the coffin for LSU, for everybody that plays college hoops. I think it's ridiculous.
All right, Koala Insulation of Baton Rouge. Guys, team of Koala Insulation of Baton Rouge are your residential and commercial energy efficiency experts. Tim DeSales and his staff are absolutely fantastic. Tim, of course, big LSU fan and a big sponsor of our show. Give them a call today, 225-457-1001. And they have the capacity to tackle large spray foam projects and new home construction while being available to help everyday homeowners get some relief from South Louisiana's extreme weather. And as an added bonus, most of Koala's projects qualify for federal income tax credits. I say it each week. If you keep your thermostat set on 72, you let Koala up in your attic and do some spray foam and 2 or 3 other products that they have. You pick and choose, and they'll quote it out to you. Your attic up there will get no hotter than 75. It's amazing what these spray foam insulations will do. And down here in Louisiana, I mean, look, how many days of 20-degree temperatures do we have? But I hope we don't have a summer this summer like we had last with a bunch of 105s. But that's where Koala Insulation earned their money. And I think you'll get every dime of it back on your energy bill. It ain't going to take long to recoup, and it's going to be a lot healthier for your air conditioning units and all the corresponding pieces up in your attic. Give Koala a call, 225-457-1001. And Alumni Hall, go to Perkins Row. Tiger fans, Alumni Hall, your ultimate shopping experience, the best and largest selection of apparel. They've got all the new stuff. A lot of the new LSU baseball jerseys are in stock. So head over to Perkins Row, beautiful store, wall-to-wall LSU gear. If there's something you're looking for and it's got an LSU logo on it, if they don't have it, nobody does. Alumni Hall, where Tiger fans shop. And Remember, LSU students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store every day, and you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Please tell me you heard about them on TigerBait.com, and we love our relationship with Alumni Hall. All right, let's get some more of your comments. Let's see.
In case you missed it, folks, Tennessee having a little problem with a quarterback and NIL. Of course, the NCAA, as Kenny Haynes has often said, is over in the courtroom. So a lot of pushing and shoving and lobbying and legal tossing. And we may be talking about athletes being employees and having unions and having contracts and all of this stuff moving forward. But NCAA, how many years do you think before they lose their power to suspend, punish, and try to dish out? Because now Thomas Morris is his attorney, and he's every time you need to go against the NCAA, you call him, he gets the job done. But you feel like that's coming?
Yeah, I mean, they're already toothless. Sankey is the most powerful man in college football. So that's where one of the big benefits of being an SEC member. Rick Cloetti, that fourth foul on Angel Reese where the USC center bullied her to the ground and she grabbed her shorts on the way down was just ridiculous. Coach Kim Mulkey lost it. Two of Angel Reese's 5 fouls were absolutely ridiculous. Those refs, not just because LSU lost, I think they kind of put a damper on a big national event game by having Angel Reese sit on the bench as long as she did, and of course fouling out with 4 minutes left in the game. The last foul that she got, of course, was warranted and a bad foul on her part, but 2 of her 5 fouls were ridiculous and should have not been called.
67-65, LSU's leading. The Carolina player is going up for a layup. You let her score that layup. You need to be on the floor the last 4 minutes. Why I want the 6 so much, Mike, is that if you get 6, then you can stay on the floor with 2 fouls. You get your third one, then you're getting take out. But I just hate it. And LSU this year cannot afford to have their superstars on the bench with foul trouble.
Well,
they just don't have the depth.
Look at what we're talking about here. It isn't this amazing, the amount of women's basketball we're discussing. And regardless of what this team does this year, it still is destination TV. It's fun to watch. And I don't know how long Kim Mulkey's going to coach. She kind of hinted or made some people nervous in post-game Thursday night, comparing herself to Saban and getting out at a certain age. And are they the same age?
No. He's 10. Saban's 10.
Yeah, but he's talking about look what he did. But
yeah, well, she did have a health scare, and I think that probably brought things into focus maybe like never before. And look, your family, your health, your relationship with God, all those things that are so important. You get a health scare. I think Kim Mulkey can do. I think Kim Mulkey can win a lot of basketball games at LSU if she cuts back her schedule 25 or 30%. Well, I'm not, and that's where you bring it. Let Starkey do his thing. You let Gary Reedus do his thing. I mean, she's talked about that already. How pivotal Starkey is for her, and that she, if she's not feeling it, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, but it's hard to change, Mike. I know, but she's got such a high standard. Yeah, she goes 90 miles an hour. All I'm saying to you is that it's the toughest thing to do as a coach and a player. After you put your butt out there, all the preparation, all the buildup, and then you got a microphone in your face right after that. That's tough, folks. I don't think you realize how tough it is. John Sibley Butler with a big super chat. Thank you for that, John Sibley, one of our major supporters and with us every week and always with great comments, and we thank you for that. He says, thank you guys for all that you do. What's your opinion of men's basketball strategy? I hear I talked to Brian Lazar. Of course, he's at every game covering it for TigerBait, and other people saying, what, they're really impressed with Matt McMahon and his coaching ability. But then other people say that they think maybe he outthinks himself and overcoaches some. I don't know. What's your take? it's been good and bad. He's done some good things, but obviously the biggest question that you have is, and one of the commentators was pointing this out a couple games ago. They literally were not coming down the floor and passing it more than once or twice before somebody shot it. And so the first thing you got to say, why aren't you getting on them for quality of selection of shots? The second thing, when you got a guy ahead of you or wide open, throw him the freaking ball, whether it's Will Baker Wright or Cook or whoever. And then third, the strategy late in games, calling timeouts, not letting 12-0 runs going. A lot to be desired. Coach Mack's got to do better. This is big-time basketball. He's a super nice guy with a super nice family. I think he's got 2 years after this to get it done. That would give him 4 of the 8 year. If he doesn't get it done by year 4, he's bye-bye.
John Silly Butler, thank you so much for that. Let me ask you this. You brought up actual attendance earlier. Do you think he should probably have another year or two, but maybe he doesn't get it just because the fan support isn't there in such low attendance, and it's just it's a loser?
Well, first of all, you'd have to have somebody in line if you're gonna pull the plug after year 2.
No, I'm not saying to make a move this year, but
okay. Well,
I'm just wondering if you're saying he would get another 2 years after this one.
Yeah.
Does it get to a point where it's like,
okay,
yeah, you would like to give him 2 more years, but it's just the actual attendance has gotten so bad that it kind of forces Woodward's hand.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to get to that point, but I do want to point.
I hope he gets it fixed. I mean, there's no doubt
But here's the point I want to bring up, because a lot of people beat this up on the internet. Well, they won a natty, but they lost $8 million. Folks, if you're not smart enough to realize you cannot compute the millions of dollars in worth and PR and overall brand that Kim Mulkey has brought to the table. Kim Mulkey is known almost as much as Shaq and all the
I can tell you right
LSU
now, if you had to guess, okay, let's say that $8 million. Okay, that's the books of the foot. The TAF comes in and cuts the checks and balances it out. If you had to guess how much contributions and donations that Kim Mulkey has brought into the TAF, I'd be shocked if it was any less than 15 to 20 million.
I don't know what a number is.
I'm just pulling a number out. It could be more than that. I think she's that prolific of a fundraiser.
But my point is, I'll never forget when Saban went to Bama. Now, Saban got $1.2 million, and I asked Dr. Emmert, and of course, Joe Dean was the AD, but Dr. Emmert was calling the shots. And he said, "Buddy, you're going to like this guy." I said, "You're paying him $1.2 million." He said, "Look, if you want to go to Kmart, you go to Kmart. If you want to go to Walmart, you go to Walmart. But if you want to play with the big dogs, you got to pay." He went over to Alabama and was making obviously more money. You think Nick Saban was worth every penny 100 times over? Kim Mulkey is worth every penny 100 times over.
If you're selling 13,000 seats, the Arkansas game was jam-packed in there. Florida, I'm sure, is going to be another nice big crowd. I would like to know what LSU a women's basketball ticket at each level, and your apples to apples. What are they charging at South Carolina versus what are they charging at LSU? For the entertainment value alone, if you said, you know what, you can cut that deficit in half if everybody pays $2 more a ticket, and I'm just making numbers up. I think people would, because the entertainment value is worth it. I don't know if people think an LSU women's basket, if you're buying individual tickets, if you think it's high already or not. But I think people would pay it. And
but it's a lot.
I don't know if people are paying the park. I mean, is there parking passes for women's basketball? How many of those are being sold? I have no idea.
But I'm not talking about actual numbers and dollars bringing in here. I'm talking about every time LSU. Folks, game day came to LSU and did a show for 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And please teach those poor people how to eat a king cake. That was embarrassing. But the brand, the marketing, the PR, the discussion that she brings into this university, you cannot count it. It's so big.
Cajun 5 says, Mike, you were looking great after your illness. I think I lost 8 pounds the wrong way. Thank you for that. But I don't wish that on anybody. You don't want to have strep and flu at the same time. It's going around Baton Rouge. COVID is going around. Of course, COVID, for most people, the way it is now. But watch out. Take care of yourself. Really, I think I was sick before that. I think the last 2 times I was sick, I got it at the PMAC. Hal Jubin says Florida is sold out. There you go. Hal says women's sports around the country is a money loser.
Sure. Every other sport is a loser, but other than men's basketball because of the tournament dollars, and football. Baseball, you split even. Everybody else
this is what I want to know, though. Do you think the TV contract for college baseball, would it be more than women's basketball TV contract? Or is there
no. The women's basketball is, they had a lot of controversy, and one of the reasons they were able to kick it up a notch with the new negotiations is because of the rankings of what LSU and Iowa. It's moving on up. College baseball.
So it's the only reason that LSU, of course, they lost money this past year, but not a lot. But that money that LSU lost in baseball, that's, to me, they're still a moneymaker.
Absolutely.
But is it just a matter of the fact that baseball has that many more home games?
Accountants can make things and numbers.
But that's the difference, isn't it? Baseball has more games.
Well,
because women's basketball is drawn huge.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a baseball ticket and a women's basketball ticket?
Well, it'll be interesting.
I'd love to know the ins and outs of all that.
It'll be interesting to see if the LSU baseball fan is going to be just as impatient as the women's basketball fan is. Sit tight. You got one of the greatest of all time. And how fortunate have we been to be able to cover Skip Bertman, Nick Saban, Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, all these legendary coaches. Dale Brown, obviously not in the same discussion as far as achievements, but he brought a lot of interest to LSU basketball.
Rick Cloetti says the PR value that Coach Mulkey brought to the LSU overall brand is incalculable. Reese visiting with Florida recruits. Wow. With football recruits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, you see Angel Reese all over the whenever whenever LSU's on TV for a game being broadcast, if it's in football, you get that third quarter commercial break and LSU gets a 30-second commercial that runs. Well, they're using images of Mulkey and Angel Reese and everybody. I mean, look at the NIL space, what the girls are doing. It's unbelievable. You had a Heisman Trophy winner, but the girls had more NIL dollars than Jaden Daniels. Reese, Flaugier, Haley Van Lith, Livy Dunn in the gymnastics. Rick's right about the marketing.
I love it. I agree with every word he said. Oh, by the way, in case you missed it, over at Mobile Senior Bowl, really strong talk. Jaden Daniels going to go top 4 or 5. Malik Neighbors going to go top 10. Brian Thomas Jr. going to go top 10, top 15. Unbelievable. Jordan Jefferson today got a little cross-haired and threw a kid's helmet off. And they asked him, why he was so pissed off. And he said, "You don't know the house I had to live under last year."
John Silly Butter, football pays the bills. Yes, it does. Dwayne D, the fans and wild expectations along with this year's women's basketball team is stressing Coach Kim Mulkey out. I see it more and more in her interviews.
But she knew that.
You know what though, Dwayne? I think she also thrives on it. Yeah. There's a catch-22 there. I know her going to TJ Ribs for her coach's show and all that. I think she would be miserable if she didn't have all that stuff going on.
But Mike, look what happened. Kim Mulkey won a natty in year 2. That's incredible when you look at the pieces that she had to pick up with Nikki Fargas leaving this program. Jay Johnson won a natty in year 2. And we all thought, hey, BK, it's your turn, right? When you win national championships, tell me the last team to repeat at LSU in a natty. Okay? Skip Bertman's baseball did it. 96, 97, and Pat Henry in the track did it. Nobody else did it. Nobody else repeat. It's not that easy. Carolina didn't do it in basketball last year. Georgia didn't do it in the three-peat. Oh, by the way, how fun is this SEC season? Mike is coming around. He said every LSU game this year, the Tigers are going to be a favorite this year. I didn't say it. He said it.
The schedule just sets up. I think it is a very favorable for schedule. Obviously, Alabama ain't gonna be what they used to be. Ole Miss might be the best team on the schedule. I still want to see a Brian Kelly LSU team come out of the gate in week 1 and put it together. I don't care what USC does have or doesn't have or what they did or didn't get done in the portal in the offseason. I don't think that's going to be an easy game regardless. But I think as of now, you'd say LSU's favored in every game. But that said, they could still go 10-2 or 11-1. I saw The Athletic a week or two ago had them going 12-0. Whether 12-0, 10-2, 11-1, whatever it is, I still think there's going to be some aggravation watching that defense, regardless of how good these coaches are. They're going to need some time, and they're going to need to get some players in.
The most improved defense in the SEC in 2024, you heard it from the Bud man first.
All right.
The most improved defense, because Whit Weeks is going to play. Deshaun Womack's going to play. Jackson Howard's going to play. Harold Perkins is going to wreak havoc. You're going to have corners. You're going to have safeties, and you're going to have coaches put people in the right position and blitzing and disguising and getting after their ass. And you know what we had last year? Yeah, well, you know what you had.
Buddy's got the half full hat. I need to find out where he got that, see if they make a half empty so I can wear it sitting here next to
That'd
him.
be perfect for you.
All right. Guys, we had a great show tonight. Sorry for the little hiccup there. I think we lost internet connectivity there for a short bit, but got it back on track. Thanks for all the super chats as always. And please hit that like button if you enjoyed the show on the way out. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. Go to TigerBait.com, subscribe. We got multiple recruiting updates being posted tomorrow. $1, you can try us out for a week. Get all our text alerts, newsletters. We've got a lot coming your way on the site. About to get super busy. Spring is always the busiest time of year at TigerBait.com. Thanks again, and you guys have a great end of the week and into the weekend. Good night.